Good morning and welcome to the eclipse portal. This lunar eclipse just took place a few hours ago, and now the fun begins. We are in the throes of it for the next 2 weeks. The 2024 spring eclipse portal is here. That's this time between this lunar eclipse that just happened last night and the total solar eclipse happening on April 8th. This is going to give us 18 months worth of spiritual growth condensed into 2 weeks. There's going to be a big focus on self versus others. Where are you putting yourself first? Where are you putting others first? And where do we need to find a new balance with that in our personal lives? For the next 2 weeks, every single day may feel way longer than just a day. That's kind of just how eclipse season works. And, your mileage may vary. It may not be that way for you, but for many of us, it's going to feel like these next 2 weeks take forever. For some of us, a ton of stuff is going to come up. There's going to be busy events, meaningful conversations, life-changing decisions. And for some of us, you might spend the time just sick or just resting or just not doing much of anything and feeling very calm and chill. And the reason for all of these different kind of reactions to eclipse season comes back to your natal chart. So I did record a whole video on how this lunar eclipse would affect you by birth sign. So if you haven't seen that, I posted that like last week or something. So just scroll back through my recent videos and go watch it. That will give you a good idea of how you personally will be affected by this. Okay, different charts have different energies. And so these two charts are just charts I had up from my most recent charts. So this is America's birthday, July 4th, 1776. This is Kate Middleton from that Middleton video I just did last week. And so, okay, here's the thing that you need to pay attention to is this Aries Libra axis. On my program, it's a red and what color is this? Like cyan or whatever. And so whatever you've got going on in that axis is really what's going to be triggering at this time. So for America, we're looking at the triggering of Chiron, which is going to be our deepest soul wounds, and the triggering of our karmic comeuppance. Okay, so this is going to be really interesting, and I need to do a whole video just on this because one key thing to know is that this solar eclipse is taking place at 19 degrees of Aries. This is at 20 degrees. We're going to have some really big wounding show up as a nation. And it may not show up on that exact day, but this is kind of like the clock striking noon and kind of unleashing the lunchtime hour upon us. Like this is the clock that's striking, and it's going to be opening up a window where we're going to see some national wounds show up on where we have put ourselves first and where we have put others first and where we need to pay for the way that we have put other people first. Okay. Now, Kate Middleton's chart has nothing in Aries, so she's going to have a different experience. Over here, she has Pluto, Saturn, Vertex, and Mars all in Libra. And this lunar eclipse has the full moon in Libra. She's going to be asked to probably really transform the way that she is interacting with other people. She might not feel very happy about it. I mean, this right here is all, these are all a little bit of tough stuff and tough stuffs to have all right next to each other. Because she's going to be really asked to kind of have a death and rebirth in her relationships, whatever that means. And of course, she lives a life very much in the public eye. And so that axis for her is also going to be triggering because it is squaring this eclipse situation pretty close. I mean, this is 22 degrees. The eclipse is happening at 19 degrees on April the 8th. So this is going to be triggering her nodal path. I don't know. We'll see how it plays out, but this exact 2 weeks for her is going to be very critical for her whole life journey. So in a way that, look, in America's nodal path is Aquarius to Leo, which is not in the direct line of squaring this eclipse. So I'm just bringing this up to show you that whatever we've personally got going on in this axis, that's gonna really impact how these different energies play out for us personally. If you have nothing in those axes, like you may have a really different experience than somebody who's an Aries sun and a Libra moon and has a ton of stuff in Aries and Libra. Okay. No matter what shows up for you, these are my greatest tips for handling it. First, breathe really deeply. Anytime that you can stand to take a deep breath, do it. Like, set an intention. I'm going to breathe deeply this week. And then do it. Just breathe. This is how you connect with God and your own soul. Breath, the word for breath is spire, like spire, like to inspire, to respire, to expire. These are all breath related terms. If you feel like you're not connected with God and the Holy Spirit, like you need more inspiration, you need to breathe. Breathe more deeply. Breathing deeply will get you unstuck from wherever you are. When we feel stuck, a lot of times it's because our breath is stuck. So come on, guys, just breathe. It's free. Just do it. Come on, breathe, guys. This is how you're going to calm your nervous system and how you're going to tune into your own self. Listen to God and yourself as things show up for you. If they're exciting and stressful or boring and confusing, whatever is showing up for you this week, I invite you to ask yourself what the message is. What am I supposed to be learning from this? What am I supposed to be taking from this situation? Ask God what the message is. Ask your body what the message is. Write down what comes into your mind. If you feel like you're making it up, so much the better. That's how things feel when our bodies are trying to communicate with us. Our bodies are making it up. So it feels like we're making it up. It's okay. We're just going to write it down and run with it. And then thirdly, we're going to go into this with intention. If you could have all of your dreams come true, what shifts would you see in your relationships over the next 2 weeks? How would you be divinely supported to be yourself and care for yourself in more healing and more beautiful ways? As I wrote down this question, I had all of these thoughts that I had not been intentional about. And I thought, oh, what shifts would I like to see in my relationships over the next 2 weeks? Like, I need to go and like really do this. So as soon as I'm done recording this, I'm going to do this. By the time this eclipse hits, yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready. But setting this intention, we're not going to set the intention that other people change, okay? Because that's just like not appropriate. But we can set intentions that the nature of relationships change. So one thing that I'm thinking of is a relationship in my real life where this other person is like a real judgy bee to me. And it's fine, like I handle it. I think I am nice about it, but it's not my favorite thing that I have in my life. And so I'm thinking, okay, I don't think it's appropriate for me to set the intention that this other person changes and becomes less of a bee to me. But I think that it's appropriate to set the intention that things might show up that allow this relationship to transform a little bit. Maybe we can end up not seeing as much of each other. Maybe we can, maybe I can have a change of heart that or maybe there can be changes of heart that happen. I feel like setting the intention that changes of heart are going to happen that lead to a much better relationship experience. That's really different than saying like this other judgy person, they're gonna change. They're gonna, no, we're not gonna do that. It's really easy in relationships to blame the other person for what they do and how we feel about it. But actually, we are the only people that we have any control over, and we're the only people it's appropriate to say that we're going to change, right? So how are we going to change, or how is the nature of the relationship going to change? How can we think about that in terms of, the relationships and ourselves versus changing another person? This is not about us setting an intention that somebody else changes. This is going to be us setting new and different boundaries. This is going to be us changing how we spend our time in the context of other people. It's going to be how we change our perspectives about those other people, which um I mean, yeah, I feel like with this exact situation I have in my life, like I get it. I feel like I understand where this person is coming from and everything, and I'm not like, emotionally wounded or something, but I think there's room for improvement, and I'm gonna set the intention that things improve, whatever that will look like. I'm not gonna say she has to change, but I'm gonna say I'm setting the intention something beautiful is gonna happen here. I don't know what it's gonna look like. I'm not going to make a plan, a step-by-step plan to change things this way, but I'm going to be open to, some shifts. Some of us are going to have really big stuff show up in the next 2 weeks, and some of us are going to have situations show up that are much more subtle. The most important thing that you need to understand is that you cannot do this wrong, okay? You can't fail this, okay? It's not like you can get an F at living through the eclipse portal, like that. It's just not so. Whatever is going to unfold for you is exactly right and exactly perfect, and our only job is to breathe deeply and connect with our creator every single day. That's it. So as long as you're doing that, you get an A plus, you know? Not that it's graded, but you know, this does not have to be stressful. If you're not listening to God in your body, during this eclipse season, we can get some big kicks in the pants if we are not listening to God and our own bodies. If this is not a dynamic that you're playing into where you are connecting with God regularly and your own body, you can get some big, unfun reminders that you need to do that. If things come up that knock you down and wind you, either metaphorically or literally, it is time to look within at where you are not listening to God and your body now, and where you have not listened to God and your body in the past. So this is a great time to start making amends for mistakes of your past. If you haven't ever made a moral inventory of yourself, this is a great time to do that. So this is how you do a moral inventory. You're going to write down everything that you have done that is wrong. Anything that you feel like you have done wrong, you're going to write it all down. This is going to take probably pages. Mine has taken pages, pages. This is probably not a 1-day event. This is probably something where you say every day for 15 minutes, I'm going to work on my moral inventory, until it's done. And you can start from now and go backwards. You can start from your birth and go forwards, but you're going to write down everything that you've done that you are not proud of, the stuff that you regret doing, okay? And it's hard, okay? I just don't want to sugarcoat that. This is a rough activity. But then you partner with God, our creator. If you are not religious, call it the universe, but we're going to tune in to that divine perspective to get that divine perspective on all of these things individually. Which again, this is not a 1-day event. We're gonna just do it over time. I mean, if you have it in you to go work on this for 6 hours, you can probably knock it out. I don't know, but we're gonna partner with our creator to go item by item and get a divine perspective on this situation, because our viewpoints are really whack. Like, we are not good we're not good judges of our own selves. I really feel like we are not qualified to judge ourselves, but we do. Like, we are really judgy of ourselves as a species. Humans tend to be very self-judgmental, even though that is ridiculous. The story that always comes into my mind now is last year when I was really judging myself for not being go, go, go during this one particular week. And then at the end of the week, I was hospitalized for pneumonia. Like, here I was judging myself, not realizing that my entire internal system was shutting down. Like, I was dying and I didn't know. And I don't know, sometimes that happens. Sometimes we have our blinders on. Sometimes we, you know, I don't know, here I am, I talking about tuning in with your body, and I was ignoring my own body and judging it, and then I got to pay the price, talk about a learning experience. But we do that. Everybody does this. Everybody does this. If you are judging yourself for not accomplishing certain things or for having done certain things, I invite you to consider the perspective that there was more going on in your soul and in your body and in your life than you understand, that you are not qualified to say how wrong it was that you did that thing. I think that our creator's perspective is way more just and way more merciful than ours is, because when you're snapping at your kids and judging yourself, God knows that it's because you're fighting off a cold that hasn't shown up yet, and your body is in massive fight off mode. And I think that our creator just has a lot of understanding for that when we don't. A lot of times we hold ourselves to standards that I don't think even God holds us to, because he knows the whole story, you know? So So anyway, the next step is we partner with our creator to get the divine perspective on each of these things to see exactly how we should be thinking about it. Sometimes you're going to find that you feel like God is telling you to not stress out about something. And you felt guilty about it for 20 years and God's like, dude, chill. Like was not a big deal to me. Then you're going to find some things that you thought were little and God's going to be like, dude, this was a big deal. Why'd you do that? And so we're going to get our creator's perspective. From a non-religious standpoint, what we are doing is inventorying the times that we have acted out of alignment with universal law. And so universal law is something I teach a lot about in Intuition Accelerator, my like flagship program. And basically it comes down to things like the law of the harvest. What you put out into the universe is what you get back. I mean, I feel like the Ten Commandments are really very good showcases of universal law. Like, don't kill people, like when we have I don't know, when we hurt other people, it comes back to us. When we steal from other people, that energy comes back to us. If we want to be happy and successful, we have to live a life that is in alignment with universal law. And so during a moral inventory, we're just drawing our attention to the times that we have acted out of alignment with universal law, the times that we have put out negative energy that is going to come back and boomerang us right in the butt. Like, that's not what we want. We want to clear it out so that our future can go a lot more smoothly. Once we have a good list going, we partner with our creator and our own souls, and we ask what we need to do to essentially wipe that stuff out of the cellular memory of our bodies. This is going to include what beliefs do we need to change, what emotions do we need to clear, and what actions do we need to take to make things right with other people. And this is going to be really different item to item. We're going to have to really look within and see, like, what are the beliefs that we still carry that were in play when we, slapped our sister across the face when we were 10, So you look back and you might find that you still have a belief that says physical violence is justified if somebody calls me a bad name. Do you have that belief? Well, maybe it's time to change that. What emotions do you need to clear? Well, maybe some anger that has been lurking about towards your sibling for 20 years. Okay, what actions do you need to make things right? Well, maybe you need to go call up your sister and apologize. And maybe not. I am a believer that sometimes our apologies are best made privately, silently, spiritually, where you imagine the other person and offer your apology to their spirit rather than go to them and say, hey, do you remember the time that I ruined your life? I'm really sorry. Sometimes that's just not appropriate. And so I just want to be clear, I'm not telling you to go apologize inappropriately. Apologize, 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 but you can always imagine the person's spirit with you and make your apology that way. And you will see for yourself as you imagine that conversation play out that it can be as spiritually effective as a real life conversation. Sometimes it's best not to open these cans of worms. But there's a lot of different things that we might need to do to make something right. Do you need to pay money to somebody that you feel like you may have stolen from intentionally or unintentionally? Do you need to have a hard conversation and talk about something where either you had something, maybe you did something wrong, maybe they did something wrong, maybe the thing that's showing up in your moral inventory um is lurking resentment and bitterness about something somebody else has done, and you've just never like confronted them about that, and you have to confront them in order to take the next step. I'm not going to be in favor of like random confrontations. Like, partner with God and your spirit to know when to do that. Um but is there a hard conversation you need to have to make something right? Do you need to establish better boundaries? Sometimes the bad guys in our own stories are actually us because we did not have good boundaries. Other people can walk over our boundaries, and that's not right. But like, at the end of the day, if it was you that didn't enforce your own boundary that should have been there and wasn't, like, whose fault is that? So sometimes these things that might show up on our moral inventory, we need to say, oh, like, I was a big player in the creation of this little situation and I need to change. I need to set up a better boundary. Do we need to forgive somebody? Do we need to forgive ourselves? Do we need to actually get more upset about something? Have we been blaming ourselves when really God is going to sit there and say, you know, this actually wasn't you? Maybe you need to take a look at the possibility that somebody else was a big player in this situation. Every single situation is going to be really different. So we just have to trust our creator and our own intuition and go slow, go one at a time. And as we figure out what we have to do, then you can just start doing it. This is an exercise that I did very seriously around the time I was probably 25. And it was a huge life changer for me. I feel like I took care of so many individual stuff that I had done over the course of my life to that point, and I just kind of like knocked out the terrible karma of it. When it's like I'd thrown all these boomerangs into the universe, but then I went and caught them and pulled them out of the air before they could flip around and whack me in the face, and that's what we want to do. Sometimes these boomerangs have already come back and now they're lodged in our actual back, and maybe you might even have literal back pain because of these little boomerangs you've put out into the universe. And you may find that as you do this moral inventory and start clearing these things, that your actual physical pain starts to diminish. That is very realistic, actually. This happens a lot. When we start clearing out old energies like this, our physical bodies can respond in powerful ways. So anyway, we want to pull these boomerangs right out of the sky before they cause any more damage. And this is a powerful way to do that. And you will find that once you start making this a part of your normal life, where you are morally inventorying yourself and proactively making things right with people as you go, your life is going to turn around real quick. It might be harder in the short term as you're actually doing the hard work of making amends and shifting your belief programming and healing your emotions and taking all these actions. But as soon as you start actually clearing out some serious stuff, you're going to feel really different and way better. The most important thing to do, though, is breathing and listening. If all this moral inventory talk is giving you a conniption, take a deep breath. All you have to do is breathe. I think a moral inventory is a great idea for the next 2 weeks. You don't have to do it. Breathe and listen to your own body. Ask our creator, ask yourself if that is something that you should do. Okay, I decided to tune in and just ask what session to recommend today on my website. And so my website is alliedclasses.com, where everything there is way cooler than anything here. YouTube's great, but really my actual site is much better. Okay. But the session for your ancestors, this is the one that came to mind, which kind of shocked me, but I don't know. I'm really interested to hear if you do this today. I want to hear how your experience is with it. I think this one is by donation. It should have a minimum donation of, I think, between like $5 and $25. So hopefully it is in your price range if you don't already have it. But this is a really great session that can start shifting a lot for you. This time period, these 2 weeks, a lot of people find that they can process a lot more sessions during an eclipse portal than they can in normal life. So this one is going to be a great one to do today for whatever reason, and I'm excited to hear what stories come up for you. This is my book that I'm going to recommend as well, Mastering Your Intuition, How to Get Answers from God and Your Soul. This is a pretty hefty book. I mean, it's not like so long, but it just has dozens of exercises in it that are going to help guide you through a lot of different things, including like breath work and listening, and it kind of guides you through a little bit of a moral inventory process as well, so that you can start clearing this stuff out and just become more intuitive, so that it's just so much easier to listen to God and your soul. Okay, thank you guys for being here. I'm still at my hotel, and I'm almost done here, which is great. I'm like tired of it. It's been fun and very exhausting. And now I have to go put on my makeup and like finish getting ready for the day. But I just wanted to say thank you guys for being here. I like you so much. I hope that this eclipse portal is everything. Here's the thing. I don't just hope it, I know it. This eclipse portal is going to be everything that you personally need, and you really can't go wrong. So hang in there, keep breathing, listen to God in your body, and relax, okay? We've got it. God's got it under control, and we're doing good. And these next 2 weeks before that April 8th solar eclipse, it's going to be pretty exciting. Okay, Talk to you later. Bye.